Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Percy Foster. I'll be chairing the webinar this afternoon. I'd very much like you to welcome you to the webinar, which we're going to hear about two very exciting new projects, both in agriculture and in the marine sector. Both projects I refer to kind of as sister projects in the sense that they're both kindly grant aided by the Shared Ireland Initiative, Department of Agriculture, Food and Marine, Department of Agriculture, Environment and Rural Affairs. So the two projects we're going to hear about today is Regenerate, which is the agricultural-based project, and then the marine-based project, which is AmBio. So during the webinar, you will see that there's a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. So if you have any questions, I'd ask you to type them into that Q&A box and then also add your name and the organization that you represent. And then once all the presentations are over, we'll do a joint Q&A session. So first of all, I'd like to introduce to the screen Patrick Barrett from the Department of Agriculture, Food and Marine. Welcome, Patrick. I know, Patrick, you'd like to share a few words about the grant aid from your government department. So Patrick, the floor is yours.
Thanks very much, Percy. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Patrick Barrett. I'm from the Research, Bioeconomy and Codex Division in the Department of Agriculture, Food and the Marine. We're delighted to be here with you today to introduce, alongside Percy, the Shared Island Initiative activities in relation to bioeconomy demonstration initiatives. So when we were thinking about speaking to our colleagues in the Department of Taoiseachs about the Shared Island Initiative and how we could maybe work with them in terms of the bioeconomy, we were keen to outline how there's that this overall initiative, which looks to enhance cooperation, connection and mutual understanding through engagement with communities and traditions around building consensus around a shared future, how the bioeconomy really fitted in as an opportunity to this initiative. We really were outlining how there were many shared challenges with regards to our agri-food systems across the island of Ireland. For example, including in terms of climate action, innovation, and the development of enhanced competitiveness. And there was really opportunities to find shared solutions through cooperation and working together. And there really was a very nice fit with the overall outline of the Shared Island Initiative. Of course, the bioeconomy fits in really well with this because it offers new and exciting opportunities for the agri-food system, for forestry and marine. And really, it was building on much investment that had been undertaken in both Ireland and Northern Ireland in terms of research, demonstration and innovation of bio-based solutions. But there was a real need, and this was identified by many stakeholders, to scale up the use of bio-based technologies and to develop value chains and new products and services related to this bioeconomy research investment. The clear needs that we had identified with stakeholders was to invest in capital and operations to bring science, technology and innovation and cooperation into action. So this led us to really working very closely and developing our relationship even deeper with our colleagues in DERA. We already had a significant working relationship on agri-food research that had been in place for a long period. But we worked with our DERA colleagues to discuss and agree bioeconomy as an innovation option to address challenges and opportunities for the agri-food sector. When we looked at these opportunities to develop the Shared Island Scheme, we agreed that we would seek to develop a Northern Ireland-led agri-bioeconomy opportunity and an Ireland-led blue bioeconomy opportunity. We worked very closely to co-develop the call, to run info events, to co-review the proposals that were received, to work together on the grant agreement and the co-financing in particular. We were able to leverage 7 million from the Shared Island Fund and the initiative, with DAFM also and DERA also making financial contributions at 1.5 million and 0.5 million sterling. So really our outlook was to support all relevant actors on the bio-based value chain to look at what was needed in terms of capital and operational investment, and to bring the science, technology, and innovation into use in regional places in Ireland to demonstrate the bioeconomy in action. We, of course, have run a competitive call, and we're really delighted to be here today to listen to the two funded proposals, and we wish the projects the very best of luck. I'll now hand you back to Percy, and thanks very much for the opportunity to open up this webinar.
Thanks, Patrick. Thanks, Patrick, for giving that overview. And it's great to see collaboration both on a north and south basis, working together and looking at the various opportunities in the agriculture and marine sector. So now I'd like to introduce Gavin McQuaid from the Department of Agriculture, Environment and Rural Affairs to say a few words. So Gavin, the floor is yours.
Thanks. Thanks, Percy. It literally will be a few words to keep us on time. So I couldn't say any better than what Patrick had already said there. So just delighted to be representing DAERA today. Delighted to see these projects getting off the ground. Really excited to see how they're going to develop over the next couple of years. It's a shared island. These are shared problems that we have. I'm looking to see how the commercial entities and the academics and so on find shared solutions to these shared problems. And I'll hand you back to Percy. Thank you.
Thanks, Gavin, and thanks, Patrick, for those short introductions. I suppose our next presenter will be Shay Hannon from Teagasc, and we're going to hear about the blue bioeconomy. And I suppose somebody like myself, who've come kind of from the recycling sector, have been doing a bit of work in the marine sector over the last year. And I suppose what struck me about the blue bioeconomy sector is there's loads of innovation happening around the country, and I think there's a lot of new innovation that we don't hear about too much, but there's a lot of exciting opportunities from the blue bioeconomy sector. And Shay, I look forward to hearing about your project. So the floor is yours now.
Percy and Lee, thanks very much to Percy and Celia Cremon for organising today's event. You should see my slide just appear now. Percy, you might give me the thoughts here.
If you can go to full screen mode, please.
That's great. That should be able to see it there now. Just one moment there.
No, it's coming up. Just give it a second.
Yeah.
Now it's full screen. Perfect.
That's great. Thanks, Percy. So again, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shay Hannon. I'm a Senior Research Officer based in Teagasc, Ashtown. And my colleague, Professor Bharesh Shawari, I suppose, is leading this project outright. And he's also on the call today, and we'll be more than happy to take any questions at the end. So really, AIM-Bio, the project itself, I really just want to give you an overview as to what we're setting out to deliver as part of the project. So really, the question is asked, what is AIM-Bio? It stands for All Ireland Marine Bio-Based Refineries for Circular Blue Bioeconomy. So what is that essentially? So it's a collaborative, and this is the key piece, I think, in both funded research projects. These are collaborative all island initiatives. Again, they're shared problems, and we're trying to find shared solutions on island. And I think that's really going to add to the value of the project, that we can call on so many research institutions and so many companies to deliver real solutions for the sector in terms of marine resources. So our key focus will be on aquaculture, fisheries, and aquatic processing. And again, that's quite I suppose, a broad area in terms of the different inputs and different challenges that those sectors are faced by on island as well. Again, we're aware that this is quite coastal activities, and again, the challenges that comes with running any business on the coast in terms of staff, in terms of processing, and really we're trying to find solutions to really add value and I suppose promote growth of both the companies themselves and the local community as well. So some of the key areas we will look at, and obviously they have different value propositions, will be food. Of course, food, as we know, as different outputs from the project. Again, there's lots of work that has been done the last 10, 15 years in food and trying to, suppose, find on our outputs for different marine byproducts and, I suppose, underutilized species. This project will really grow on that and trying to bring them to end solutions as well. And also when we look at animal feed, cosmetics, again, very different value propositions, but again, multiple solutions, depending on, again, the different macroalgae species we're going to look at. Some very high value propositions there as well. Again, nutritional supplements, industrial chemicals, again, different partners will focus on different areas through the project. But one thing we are very much aware of, with all these different inputs, there are very different outputs that can be created. And certainly that's something we'll look to build on as part of the project. The beauty of InBio is we're building on what's called an integrated biorefinery approach. And really, we're looking at 3 key sites throughout the island in terms of where we're going to have physical biorefineries. And I think it's been touched on already by Patrick in terms of the higher TRL level, the technology readiness level that this project will bring. There's a lot of research has been done in these areas. Now we're looking, as part of this project over the next 3 to 4 years, we're looking to really bring that to a higher scale. And that does involve, it's beyond the lab scale, it's into the pilot scale and commercial scale. And again, throughout those sites, we look to demonstrate then those various processes and products. Just a very quick overview. Again, this might give everyone a better idea of what we're setting out to do on one page. So again, we have our feedstocks, which we will get from various sites throughout the island, bycatches, side streams, various species, again, of macroalgae. And then we will look to, number one, optimize. And that's a key challenge with every side stream feedstock is simply stabilizing the product, again, to try and work with it. So again, through various drying technologies, stabilization technologies, we will work on that first and foremost. Because again, we can't do, I guess, a whole lot of processing with a product if we don't stabilize it first from a microbial and chemical perspective. And then from that, then the various project partners will look at various processes, which we'll talk a little bit more in a minute, to essentially make ingredients, feed, bioplastics as well. Our partner Trinity College will look at that. And again, we're looking to reduce energy as well with all these processes. These will be low energy, low impact processes we look to develop. That's key to the product. And again, there will be a series of tests, validations. Again, if we are moving to various sectors, food or feed, we have to make sure that the product is safe and marketable as well. At the end of this, key to the whole project is business cases, the commercial impact of the project, which I'll touch a little bit more on in a minute. Just a quick overview of our partners. Again, it's great to have an all-island approach here, as I mentioned again, in terms of AFBI. We really have covered the whole island in terms of the partners involved from a research and industry perspective. And as you see, the various industry partners who are supporting the project as well, really from top to bottom of the country. And we're delighted to have those on board, because that really allows us to go in depth with different challenges that different parts, different sectors of the country face, with different feedstocks and with different macroalgae as well. So our 5 key aims, again, with any project, we try and make our aims as simple and straightforward as possible. And the key aim is here, I think this is reflected again what Patrick has touched on, to demonstrate biorefineries. This is far beyond the lab scale, the small scale. This is at almost full commercial scale. We're going to develop innovative biorefineries, because really with any project, seeing is believing, and that's what we're going to set out to do over the next number of months and years. Again, for any, I suppose, industry partner involved, it's about improving efficiency, economics, a better model overall. And we are aware of the various challenges that the industry partners in this project are facing at the moment and continue to face. We are also going to look at new technologies, some novel, as part of this process, and we'll look to scale those as well, which can be a challenge when we face new technology. But also with all of this, we're looking to create links, and that's links with industry, links with commercial entities, and links with research. That's key to part of this, and this is all tied together by our bioeconomy plan and bioeconomy value chains right up to EU level. So again, just to touch on it again, the innovations are at the higher TRL level, and that is key to this process. So anything we develop will be near commercial readiness, and that's something we really want to stress. And I think that was quite clear in the research brief that this is at commercial readiness level, TRL 7 to 9, and really drive that zero waste approach of it. Because again, if we adopt this model, and we've called the model a quintuple helix innovation model. Now, really what that is, it's taking the environmental, the economic, the social, and the research, and really joining them together. That is, as we see, that is the perfect model. If we have everyone from those different sections playing together, it makes for very valuable outputs. Again, a very quick overview, just as what we'll set out to do. There are various parts that will overlap in this project, but again, as we know, with the different feedstocks, with macroalgae, they are essentially in the sea at the moment, or I suppose will be ready to harvest next year. And that's one key part of this project, is organizing the different feedstocks value chains, that they are ready for us when we're ready to work on them, essentially from a research perspective next year. And again, it's the scale up that, again, anything we will be working on here will be at the higher scale straight away. There's a lot of research already done on some of the processes, but again, it's trying to bring them to that next level, which can be challenging, but that's where we're really looking to start straight away, is optimize the scale up of side streams and macroalgae immediately, essentially. Just as in terms of a project flow, as you'll see here, the various industry partners from seaweed production to seafood side streams. Again, a key part of this is on-site storage, preservation. How do we stabilize the various byproducts? Again, you'll notice I'm not using the word waste in any part of this project. And again, that's a word that we're looking to eliminate fully from this. There is value in every bystock, every feedstock that comes from this particular project, and indeed any side stream or byproduct. And again, as we take those various outputs, they will then feed into the various research partners, where we'll look to develop and again bring to scale the various processes and value streams. And linked with all this is a business case then for each particular process and product. So who's it for? And again, that's a key question with any project. Who is it for? It is for the marine aquaculture industry on island. And again, this is a sector which we're all aware of faces various challenges and can continue to do so. So this project is really looking to really valorize any byproducts where we can really have an impact. And again, it's twofold. If we solve a problem, we may also create a value stream. So that's a twofold gain for any company. It can have an environmental and an economic benefit. For, again, communities where a lot of, I suppose, the industry partners who have mentioned there and beyond that are based, we're looking to create jobs. And we're looking at economic regeneration in a lot of areas that are essentially under pressure at the moment to keep people within their communities and also create jobs as well. And again, it's tying this all in with the regulatory side with consumers, that there'll be a lot of outreach as part of these projects so people are aware of what we're trying to achieve. And again, that should then, we'll hope, feedback into the individual companies then as well. Again, just a very quick overview, an all-island project right from top to bottom of the country and the various partners who are then involved. And again, it's island-wide outreach. That's the key thing we're looking to test here. Across the island in terms of who we'll be working with and again who we'll be engaging with as well. So just one thing to note here, the reason we keep referring back to the TRL scale, a lot of companies and a lot of industries struggle to get from beyond the novel, beyond the small scale into the full commercial scale. And really that's what we're looking to bridge here, to get from TRL 4 right up to TRL 7 or 8. And some people call that the valley of debt. We're looking to get beyond that. And we know there's a lot of research we've put behind this project that's there. It's just tapping into it and bringing it to that higher commercial scale as well. But that does require work. It does require scale up. And that's be one of our key challenges in this project. Again, I'm just going to give one very quick example here. Again, people ask the question, explain a biorefinery to me. And again, it's not, some people think the word biorefinery, they think petrochemical and they think very complex. Again, this is something we've tried to just map out very easily in terms of macroalgae, what a biorefinery might look like for the various species you'll see on screen. So again, it's conversion, it's drying, it could be wet milling. And again, there is a lot of equipment involved in this, but again, it's low on energy. Again, hydrodynamic cavitation is one of our novel technologies that is low on energy, that essentially allow us to break down macroalgae to extract proteins, alginates, dietary fiber, fucoidins, laminarians, as you see in your right. Again, all different value propositions for different companies as well. So that's just a very quick example of what a biorefinery for macroalgae might look like. And again, we're going to adopt that for multiple byproducts right across the stream. So again, I'm going to very quickly go through the tasks, and this is one of the key tasks, as we said, knowledge transfer, policy uptake, to really demonstrate this across the island. And there'll be multiple events and demonstrations held across the project, and that'll be a key piece. to really showcase what we're trying to do at scale as well. Feedstock selection and cultivation, this work has started already. You'll see the various species mentioned on screen then, again, between Bantry Bay, between various sites in Rathlin and Roaring Water as well. Where I suppose essentially we're going to take the various feedstocks from. And again, we're delighted to have the different various industry partners on board, because again, Sophimark, Johans, Nutrimara, Donegal Aquaculture, they all bring their own knowledge and experience to this project, which is vital to essentially help us deliver. And that's one key piece where we're trying to add value. We're also trying to solve problems with liquid effluent, essentially challenges that companies face as well. So this will be a key task 3 and 4, where we're adopting, I suppose, lab-based technologies that we've already developed, and we're scaling them up. And they're just an example of some of the high-value products: alginates, proteins, fibers. Again, a lot more, I suppose, openness now to adopting these type of products in multiple food, chemical, feedstocks. And again, we'll also be looking at fish meal, protein isolates, chitin, chitosan for packaging applications. So again, multiple uses there, and all linked by life cycle assessment. Again, it has to make sense. These processes have to make commercial sense as well. And again, this probably leads into the next task in terms of our partner TUS, what they'll be looking at in terms of, suppose, bringing that one step further in terms of anaerobic digestion. So we know from some processes there may be still some byproduct left, and that's where anaerobic digestion may come in. Again, mannitol extraction. So that these are honor areas that can spring out to essentially create a zero waste approach. And again, fertilizer, something we're very mindful of, that could be the value proposition for some of our byproducts as well. This is one of the key parts which I'll be leading as part of the project, is the setting up of the biorefinery itself here in our site in Ashtown. As you see on screen there now, we have multiple processing units on site. We have readapted one unit as what we're calling our mini biorefinery centre. And within that unit, there'll be multiple pieces of equipment, which we're delighted are funded under the project. So essentially allow us to create a mini biorefinery. And again, as part of this project, and again, beyond this project, we will be outwardly looking to companies on the island to use that facility. And that'll be a key part of what I'll be trying to do as part of this project. And again, develop processes and SOPs that can be replicated easily in other regions as well. And then finally, very important, our governance and management of the facility. Again, we will have an expert advisory committee advising us right throughout this project, because we know things can change as a project is ongoing, and we're very mindful that we need to adapt to that. Even on the different species, perhaps as bycatches that we take, we're very mindful of that. And again, I'll just finish up just with 2 or 3 final slides, but it's key, again, I have to stress this, to get from beyond the 1 kilo right up to where we're trying to get is a challenge, but that's a key part of this project. So it's also providing the technical support, the financial supports, and as part of us developing the SOPs, the procedures that we're ready to scale. And also we will be engaging with Bordy Shivara and various other agencies in terms of end of market value propositions. So if we do develop a process, we need to know it's commercially sound and commercially viable. And again, we will be outwardly looking throughout this project for engagement, and that's engagement right across the board, right from research to commercial entities, where we'll be really looking to join everyone together. And there'll be multiple workshops and events. This is really the start of it, and that's why we're delighted to talk about the project today. But as ongoing, we will be looking to engage a lot more with various companies. And I'll just finish with, as part of this project, there is also an expression of interest model. So again, this is far from a closed shop as a project. We will be outwardly looking to every SME, every company across Ireland. There are multiple models. We can help them get some funding support, but in the Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland, again, right from innovation vouchers right up to agile innovations funds, and we will be working quite closely with different agencies there, Invest Northern Ireland and Enterprise Ireland, to really help companies, I suppose, get value and allow them access research and allow them access facilities. And really, this project is allowing us, I suppose, an entry and speak with companies and explain those different models as well, and streamline everything. So as we say, faster. How do we do things faster? How do we collaborate better? So that's just, I'm just going to sum everything up there. Again, I'll hand back to Percy now. I'd be happy to, Rajesh and I'd be happy to take any questions at the end as well.
Thanks, Shay, for that. It's a very comprehensive presentation. And it's great to see all the various different work packages that you're doing and all the collaboration from various organizations around the island. We won't take questions now at the moment, but we'll wait till the end after Gary's presentation. But if anybody has any questions, you type it into the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. And if you could put your name and organization that you represent as well, that would be great. So Shay, thanks for giving that presentation. And now I'd like to introduce you to Gary Logue from Greenville Energy in Tyrone. So Gary's going to talk about the Regenerate project. So I'll hand the floor over to you now, Gary. Welcome to the floor.
First for that. So yeah, my name is Gary Logue, and I'm from Greenville Energy here in Tyrone. We operate an anaerobic digestion plant where we process waste residues to produce biogas and biomethane and renewable energy. So I'll just give you an introduction to Regenerate, how we sort of come about the project, and the opportunities that are there for the wider industries, including agriculture, horticulture, and the forestry industries, and how we will go about it. So just an overview of Regenerate. So Regenerate is going to focus on nutrient recovery from digested and agricultural residues, with a focus mainly on phosphates and nitrogen. So yeah, just a global overview of the situation at the moment. So phosphate itself is a finite resource, which is mostly mined in China, Morocco, or the US. So globally, it's a scarce resource, and it's transported all across the world from that. And when you're transporting the phosphates, you're sort of overloading and disrupting natural phosphate cycles in various countries, such as Ireland. So we're importing a lot of the phosphates into Ireland. We end up disrupting the natural cycle that's normal here. So for Ireland itself, we have over 100,000 tons of phosphate that are imported annually in the form of chemical fertilizers. And they also have additional phosphates imported in the forms of animal feedstocks or other household products. And phosphate itself has a significant impact on the water quality and soil health conditions as well. So Regenerate, as I mentioned, is going to create a circular nutrient economy, utilizing agricultural residues and creating valuable resources from that. So the main objectives of the project is to recover phosphates and produce a bio-based fertilizer or peat-based substrate, peat-free-based substrate, sorry, and generate a phosphate-free nitrogen concentrated centrate, which can be used for the production of crops and growing grass silages or maize silages across the island, as well as protecting the soil and improving water quality for future generations. So we all know the issues around water quality and soil conditions at the moment. So those Regenerate is going to highlight those and hopefully solve a way forward for that, and also to support sustainable agriculture and horticulture development and expansion throughout Ireland. So again, the background and the problem. So there is an urgent issue at the moment. We've obviously got numerous amounts of excess nutrients in the soils, especially phosphorus in Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland as well. And there's significant challenges throughout that we all face in terms of water quality and environmental issues from soil health as well. So we'll be focusing on the nitrogen emissions as well, in particular the ammonia, and how we can reduce that and minimize that and protect air quality and protect biodiversity, such as flora and fauna from our ASSIs. And as well as that, we'll be looking at nitrogen runoff as well and how we can eliminate that from causing eutrophication in waterways. So just for an example there on the right-hand side, that's a picture of Lough Neagh. That's the UK's largest freshwater lake. And that was up there in the summertime with the blue-green algae. That's because and created by additional nutrients runoff into that. And then we're going to be looking at peat-based products as well. So how we can reduce the carbon emissions from peat-based products and protect the marshland and the peatland as well. So utilizing the phosphates and the nitrogen to create usable products. So there are significant opportunities from both an environmental and an agricultural outlook. So soil protection, the project is going to aim to protect and enhance soil fertility and maintain soil health as well. So the current index levels and phosphates across Northern Ireland, some of those are very high due to the application of residues or cattle slurry. We're going to look at how we can protect that and maintain that for future generations to come. We'll also be looking at the water quality and how we can reduce runoff and retain those nutrients and utilize them for the production of crops, or look at transporting them across the island or exporting them into other countries. We'll also be looking at the climate impacts on that. So with less reliance on mined phosphates, we'll be able to reduce carbon emissions, reduce imports, as well as looking at the reduction in imports from chemical and synthetic fertilizers. We'll also be looking at supporting sustainable cropping, so how we can support and assist agriculture and horticulture throughout the next number of generations, and how we can support that long term and allow for sustainable expansion across both industries. So additional opportunities, there is a multiple of economic and social benefits from that. So we aim to create 4 new products from the recovery of the nitrogen and the phosphates. So we're looking at recovering and producing a nitrogen-rich centrate, which is upwards of 100% concentrated, as well as a concentrated phosphate cake that can be utilized in the horticultural industry. We'll also be looking to create some struvite and the peat-free compost then as well. So additional revenue streams then, so for the wider economy then, there'll be additional revenue streams from the creation of these sources, and also we'll be in a position to create new jobs from technical right the way to skilled jobs, and there'll be direct and indirect jobs created as well. So who is involved in Regenerate? So Greenville Energy, we will be the demonstrator plant here and the project coordinators of the project. We also have EnviroGrind, who are a composting facility located in Donegal, so about 30 minutes from the site. They process green waste and produce compost as well. So they're going to take our peat-free cake and blend that into a product. We're also working with academics such as MTU and UCC, who are involved in multiple projects throughout the bioeconomy. So they're bringing a good wealth of knowledge and understanding on the technologies and how we can develop and utilize the products and the nutrients best. We're also working with Foster Environmental and the NUA Fund, and they're going to be helping us manage the project throughout and get the knowledge and understanding of what we've learned on this project out back and across the island to the agricultural, horticultural and forestry industry. So disseminating that information right across the island. So this is a concept overview of what we're planning to do and what we're hoping to achieve here. So on the left hand of the screen, you can see there that there's we have the likes of the Lakeland Dairies, who are milk processors, and they produce phosphate cakes from the processing of milk. We've also got food producers producing fruit and other crops, as well as dairy farmers, beef farmers, and other farmers who produce residues which have a high concentration of phosphate. So we're going to take that material and we're going to move that into the middle, where Greenville Energy is going to process that material. We're going to take those agricultural residues and we're going to separate them out, separate out the phosphates and separate out the nitrogen out of that to create products usable then either on the island or exported off. So those can be used within the horticultural industry, as I've mentioned, the agricultural industry, as concentrated peat-free fertilizers are used within the forestry industry. So we'll also be selling the peat-free cake to produce peat-free based compost as well. So this is just an overview of the process and how we aim to achieve this. So we're going to be looking at feedstock residues such as agri-residues and digested from our biogas plant here. We're going to use multiple different technologies. All those technologies are TRL7, TRL8, so they're existing technologies that are there, and we're going to combine them together to allow us to recover the phosphate and the nitrogen out of the residues. So that's just a small breakdown then and more detail. So looking at our primary producers, our farmers, our food processors, and they're creating that sludge and residue, and they're going to take that to our site. We're going to put it through our normal process of anaerobic digestion. We're going to recover the methane and the CO2 off that, and we're going to create that digestive product. So that digestive product then will be separated in a number of ways. So we'll have a multiple stage screen separation. and then we're going to be putting that through a decanter then to with a biopoly to remove out any of the phosphates. So we're going to create our two products there: the fibrous phosphate cake, and then our nitrogen-rich centrate. Our nitrogen-rich centrate will go through a few other stages, chemical precipitation, so that we can remove out a high percentage of the phosphate from that liquor. So we're left with a nice clean nitrogen liquor. All the phosphate then is moving on to EnviroGrind. They're going to utilize that and blend that with compost to reduce the peat compost that they're importing on the site. So we're going to have a peat-free based compost then suitable for the horticultural industry. We're going to be looking at our contaminants then as well, glass, plastics, and organics and those will be all separated out to create new products. So as I mentioned there, we're going to be creating struvite, and we're going to be creating peat rich compost, and those are going to be utilized in the agricultural, horticultural, and forestry industries. So just overall, we're going to build upon existing knowledge and know-how, utilizing MTU and UCC's experience in creating new products suitable for the industry. We're going to be integrating it into commercial sites, so it's a ready available technology. It's just different stages. We'll be installing that here on Greenville, so we can scale it at a commercial scale. And then for dissemination and information know-how across the whole sector, we're going to have open days and site visits here on site, as well as an advisory group who are going to reach the whole island for agriculture and horticulture, as well as data collection. And we're going to replicate growing conditions for new products, and we're going to test performance of the products and how they can be utilized within the industries. So thanks very much for that.
Thanks, Gary, for giving an overview of the project there, and certainly it's great to see that there's all these various agriculture byproducts that's used in your process, and then we'll be creating various different new byproducts that can be used to substitute chemical fertilizers and to help to create peat-free compost. So what I'll do now is I'll ask all the speakers to come back onto the floor. So if you could share your screen and turn on your mic, and then we'll have a Q&A session. And then if anybody has any questions, type it into the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, and then we'll ask the panelists about it. I suppose what I suppose I'll throw this first question to Patrick. Patrick, over the number of years, the department have funded a lot of great research in various colleges and stuff, and I suppose what was kind of the main reason of going to creating the kind of shared island projects? You know, what was the initiative now to move from kind of academic research into kind of commercial scale? Was there particular reasons around that you guys decided to come together into two government departments and in the shared Ireland unit?
Yes, thanks very much, Percy. Very good question. So a number of points here. First of all, investment in research is a very important area. You need to build up capacity, capability, you need to build up expertise. Question marks are then raised after you've made investments over a period of time about how well this investment is reaching the marketplace. So what we did was we had feedback from our stakeholders on the Bioeconomy Forum, which is a forum in Ireland for bioeconomy stakeholders. And they said to us that we needed, from a policy perspective, to move to the next steps, which was really to consider scaling up. A lot of our science and technology and innovation was sitting at between TRL 4 to 5, which is very good finishing point for academic research, but it needed to move up to TRL 6, 7, and 8. But there needed to be funding opportunities provided to do this. So we had noted that there was schemes funding at this type of TRL level in the EU, and we tried to mirror it for the Irish situation and offer funding specific opportunities that could match up to some of the challenges and opportunities we had. We proposed this opportunity to the Department of Taoiseachs, because we said to them that between Ireland and Northern Ireland, we'd many shared challenges, many opportunities, but solutions needed to be found to move matters on. And really, they were very open and receptive to this. And then, of course, when we had sort of got the green light, then they said to us, well, you need to, engage with your colleagues in DERA in Northern Ireland and work from there and see how interested they were. And of course, Gavin and his colleagues were very receptive and open, and we built on long-standing relationships. But I think it's fair to say that we really worked to a high degree here to put in place the machinery or their underpinning activities to lead to where we are today. So I think it comes back to the Shared Island initiative. It's all about cooperation. It's all about connection. It's all about, I suppose, working to build consensus around what are the ideas for the future to meet the needs of our large indigenous sectors, but future-proofing them for where we need to go to. And Ireland and Northern Ireland is working very cooperatively on this.
No, it's a great idea to move from your research scale in colleges and doing the commercial scale. I suspect I know from the private sector. I know some of the things like they mightn't have done unless they've got this financial support and cooperation. And I know obviously I'm involved in the Regenerate project, and I know with the private industry, they really like there's the collaborative approach where there's academics helping them, assist them. Doing something on a commercial scale gives them confidence to do it and provides that technical expertise. I suppose, Gavin, from your point of view, from DERA in Northern Ireland, there's a lot of, I suppose, research happening there. There's a lot of kind of, I suppose, environmental issues need to be solved, like in every country. And I suppose, would you like to comment on that in the sense that, the benefit that DERA will see from being involved in this projects?
Definitely. I mean, you saw the picture that Gary put up there earlier with Lough Neagh. That's probably the most visible. We've, for example, water quality issues for a long time, not that visible maybe to the general public. Once they see something like that, it puts it more in perspective. And that's an issue that's recurred for the last 3 years. They're going to keep seeing it. So there's a number of research projects undergoing to try and deal something with that, but it's going to take a lot of collaboration again. It's going to take years to deal with that. But the point I make as well is the excess nutrients and whether it's obviously water, air doesn't really care what jurisdiction it's in. I mean, you see Lough Neagh, it comes as far away as Monaghan. People think it's just that immediate area, and likewise, ammonia emissions can travel around. So it's our own, and climate change, of course, on a wider piece. It doesn't care what department you're in or what sector you're in. So we have to work together. And I mean, if somebody has a biorefinery capability in one part of the island, and somebody else has a resource, and likewise, or somebody makes a product somewhere, and somebody else has a market. So why not work together? You can see in the Q&A there, other folks dropping in there, offering other potential assistance. So build on the research that you got, like Patrick and Shay said. There's a lot of lab work done, a lot of research. So this isn't started from scratch, but it needs this collaborative approach through funding and the research. The more people you've got, that's what's going to help you bring it up to those TRL levels and get it to a large scale where it's really going to make an actual impact. And something like Lough Neagh and the issues that we have is going to take a big scale to do that. So all these various research projects culminating in what we have today, hopefully make an impact on that.
Yeah, and I know DERA, I think over the last few years, you've kind of funded, I think there's 6 kind of demonstration type projects. So I know from the Regenerate project, we're going to be reaching out to them, learning from their learnings as well, and building that into our project as well. So I suppose there's a lot of, as you say, there are a lot of work being done, and we're building upon that and building up to kind of a commercial scale.
So if you want, I can we're on that later, but I don't want to take away from the 2 projects here. But if you want, there's time, I can mention a bit more about that work we've done in particular.
Sure, mention it now. The floor is yours.
Well, just very quickly, I see a lot of synergies with what Gary was talking about there. So in 2023, we funded 6 companies. I think it was £100,000 each to go and find solutions to deal with excess phosphorus that there is in Northern Ireland. So basically on paper, and left the solution up to them. Didn't tell them how to do it. And all 6 suggested using separating slurry on farms, because that was the target, was to take phosphorus slurry to divert it from land, and every single one of them suggested via AD, separating on farm and screw press AD. That's where they all were the same, but they all differed on the process afterwards, how they dealt with it, digest it, and so on. That's where different products and using it locally or exporting differed. So now we're going to phase 2. So we narrowed that down to 2 companies so far. Hopefully a third will come on board. So 4 million each. That's going like up the scale again. So that's trying to go for 1,000 tons of phosphorus every year by the end of year 3. So it's the same idea through AD. That's trying to ramp it up. So there is slowly been separated by those companies already, and yeah, it's work in progress. There's a lot of interest in it for sure.
Yeah, and I know definitely in the Regenerate project, we're going to be reaching out and learning from them and see what a practical experiences that we can build into the Regenerate project. We have a few questions in the forum, and there's one question from Declan Arthur McDonald, and I think this is more for you, Shay. I think you might have answered it in your presentation, but he was asking what scale of the biorefinery will you be doing?
Yeah, so the biorefinery, which will be running here in Ashtown, will go all the way from test level from 10 to 50 kilos with up to 1 ton. So I could say in multiples of 10s, 10 to 100, 100 to 1,000 kilos. And that's now, it's key to note we know we have to get to that level to demonstrate this process works effectively. But beyond that is a challenge for us. Again, you're into heavy investment on facility as well. But that's where we'll be looking to industry partners as well to help on that in terms of beyond that scale.
Okay. And we have another question from Porg Fleming from Gas Networks Ireland. And Porg is asking, and I think this is for your project as well, Shay, will this project give us an idea of the amount of marine product that will be available for anaerobic digestion feedstock?
It'll certainly be a part of it at the moment, and another project springs to mind in Farm Bio, which I know Patrick would be aware that it did, which tried to map essentially the amount of feedstock in the country. Maybe that's something which we could feed into. It established was the amount of feedstock in Ireland from marine sources as well. But we'll certainly have a clearer picture after this, and that is a key question: that what's the best value proposition? Is it we'll develop multiple processes, but again, anaerobic digestion for some may be the best solution, and we're very mindful of that.
Sure. I suppose another kind of question that we have here is around timetables and for the projects. So I suppose Shay, I know both projects I think are around 4 years long. So I suppose if there's any kind of key milestones that you would have to do around dissemination. I think some people are wondering, when will there be some workshops or when will there be some site visits? So maybe Shay, in your project, what likely will be some of the key milestones where people are able to visit the work?
Yeah, so certainly, and I might let Brajesh touch on this now in a minute. At the moment, we're very much in setup phase. So over the next 6 months, we'll be establishing the biorefineries. But beyond that, we will be looking for people to come on site, essentially certainly to Ashtown and the different sites within the project, to essentially see the biorefineries and try and map out processes within this project and beyond this project as well. But there will also we have 6 targeted events throughout the project, and they will involve workshops and conferences where we'll be outwardly engaging with industry as well. And I might let Brajesh touch on that as well.
Yeah, I was about to give that number. We'll have almost every year we'll have a workshop, industry events, and to showcase what's being developed, and will be live demonstrations as well. So from time to time, it'll be sent on a social media and different places to see when the events are happening, and it'll be free for all people to come and join.
Okay. And Gary, I'll ask you the same question with the Regenerate project, about timelines. When there would be, rough ideas of opportunities to visit the 2 plants.
Yeah. So yeah, we're hoping within the first 16 months we're going to have technology here. We're going to be in a position to demonstrate what the technology can do and what we can achieve, and have the data there to share that. So we will as well be having open days. So you can come on site, you can see the biogas plants and the AD plant, and how we're then taking that digested and treating that to create our two new products. So we will have open days as well. We'll be attending multiple conferences and events across Ireland. So yeah, information will be readily available from that.
Okay. And maybe, I suppose, there might be opportunities with the two projects to do maybe some other joint webinars in the future as well. I notice in the marine sector, you're going to have some field crop trials as well. And, you know, we'll have that as well. So we might see if there's more synergies between the two projects, maybe doing some joint events if the field trials are located nearby. So I suppose between the two projects, we'll look at that. Peter Waters has a question, as wondering, have you looked kind of internationally at other projects in this area? So is there already kind of existing projects like this done in other countries around the world that we can learn from? So I suppose, Shay and Burgess, from your project, is there any international learnings that we could look at, or you've looked at?
Yes, it's actually, this is a very good question, and this is as what was mentioned by Patrick as well as by Shay. We're not starting from the scratch, and one of those slide was having all those input coming in. Even Chagas, we are coordinating large EU project on EU circular economy that ends up at TRL level 5 and 6. And there was a Marine Functional Food Research Initiative, an all-island program again between 2008 2015. Did a lot of base work on research work, and we have learned from all those processes. We have picked up certain processes which can be scaled up, which is having a potential, and that's we already in a process of adopting from all those projects which are running in the EU previously funded by DAFM and various national, international agencies. So everything has been amalgamated together to come up with this particular proposal.
Okay. And Gary, the same question for you. Is there any kind of international examples done already that you've learned from?
So I suppose some of our consortium there are project partners, MTU and UCC, they're involved in a multitude of projects across Europe. So they're going to bring an awful lot of knowledge and understanding from those projects into Regenerate. They are focusing on nutrient recovery in different ways and focusing on different nutrients. So yeah, the team there at MTU and UCC will bring a lot of that European project knowledge and know-how, and we'll be building upon that as well.
Okay, great. And I notice there in our Q&A, there's Finbar Hart from Ulster University. He'd like to collaborate on the marine project. So Finbar, I'll share your details with Shay afterwards, so you guys can talk offline. Also, I see Stephanie Siebert. She's the Executive Director, European Compost Network. She is involved, I think, in 2 other Horizon projects recovering of nutrients, and you know, she'd like to exchange as well, and be part of their Ferticover community as well, and they have a LinkedIn page as well. So Stephanie, we will share that, and it's great to see you're also open for a discussion and share knowledge at a European level as well. So thanks so much, Stephanie, for that offer, and we certainly will share your details, and we'll link up with you guys. It's always good to share knowledge. I suppose over the years, any collaboration on international level, you always learn from each other, and it's great to share experiences and knowledge and build upon international research as well. One thing that I noticed in the presentation, Shay mentioned about regulatory alignment, and I suppose technically we're both 2 different jurisdictions legally, and I'm sure throughout the 2 projects, you know, we'll identify as we go along where there might be regulatory areas where you might have to align to create kind of an all-Ireland opportunity as well. So I think it's great to see, Shay, you've identified that in your project to look at regulatory alignment. And I know in the Regenerate project as well, it's one of our tasks as well to see, you know, when you start doing this work, you'll then start to identify, you know, okay, is this regulation there? Do we need to look at amend it? How do we facilitate trade on an all-Ireland basis as well? One question as well, Shay, you mentioned about doing the field trials with some of your products. When is that later on in the project, or is that earlier on? Do you have an idea when you're going to be doing those field trials?
Yeah, that'll come slightly later in the project. And well, just on that, within Chagas as well, we're running some, you could say, internal trials at the moment. We have various growing units as well. So the field trials won't limit us on our research. And we are looking at various outputs and biofertilizers now as well for marine sources. So it'll probably be in looking into year 2, year 3, we'll be looking to do those field trials.
Now, see any other questions? I know Porrick Fleming, he's mentioned about a biomethane plant in Denmark that may be of interest to us as well. So Porrick, we'll link up with you afterwards to share those details. Maybe you might have something to learn from that as well. I see there's also a question from Muno Prasad about producing peat-free compost from digestate. And I was just wondering, are we aware of the nutrient content in materials? Gary, do you want me to take that question, or are you happy to take it?
No, I suppose we can both maybe answer that. So we've good analysis and details on our product here. So we're past 110 from the site, which is a bio-based product. So yeah, we're working with Percy and BioGrind on how to test and analyze that. So we will be looking at any sort of impurities or any substrates that may cause harms and issues on that as well. So we're well aware of those issues, and we're looking to see how we can minimize that or move that out as well.
Yeah, and so it's just to give a bit more detail in the project, we will have different steps where we'll be doing different blends of different composts on the BioGrind site to address that issue. And then that'll be followed by some plant growth tests. And then later on, when we refine it, then there'll be large scale plant growth tests as well done by a third party as well. So yeah, we're aware of this issue. There's a lot of valuable nutrients in the content that could prevent germination, and that's definitely something that we've identified. We're also aware of some international partners in the peat growing industry as well who are doing some similar work. So we're linking up with them as well to learn from their experiences as well. So I know we're getting close to the end of time, and I haven't got through all the questions, but I suppose I've got through the bulk of the questions as well. So I suppose if the delegates or the presenters have any other questions comments they'd like to say, I leave it to you guys. But also I'd like to thank Celia, who's on the screen there, for organising the event. And so thanks so much, Celia, for organising the event and making sure everything worked smoothly. So I suppose I'll just let you all say a quick final comment. So Patrick, do you have any final quick comments? You have about 20 seconds.
Yeah, Percy, just to say that, the projects are going to make huge efforts to develop the science, technology, innovation, but also, unlock any regulatory or legislative or other challenges as they move along. So this is quite interesting. They're really addressing market-based challenges, and I think they're going to be quite impactful. So the very best luck to both projects. I'm really looking forward to working with them.
Thanks. Gavin?
Likewise, yeah. I mean, glad that the collaboration got on. There's still offers of collaboration coming in. Happy to work with Gary or anybody else that wants contacts through the sustainable utilization of livestock slurry. Maybe if other people are on the call that haven't put something in the comments that do want to get in contact, what's the best way for those perhaps people to pass on the word that this webinar happened? Percy, how would they best get in touch, perhaps?
So we're recording the webinar, so it'll be available freely. We just have to figure out the mechanism of that. So we'll probably next week or two we'll figure it out. We might be sharing on our websites, but we will be in touch with people, and then I suppose any of the webinars will be recorded going forward. So there'll be a library of webinars that'll be freely available. Shay, any final comments?
Oh, thanks, Percy. Just to note, anyone who's on the webinar, indeed, any industry partners, the project is a vehicle to deliver on a lot of research, but we're very open to engagement with anyone. And just to note as well, we will be in Kellybegs on Monday, Brajesh, myself, at a BIM organised event, if anyone wants to speak to us then as well.
Perfect. Brajesh?
Yeah, Fileworks, many thanks for Celia for arranging this webinar. And as she already mentioned, we are open for collaboration, and this is publicly funded project, and we are happy and we are open for collaboration with industry or academic partners, as some of the questions you did mention were coming up. So thanks very much.
Sure, and we will share those details of Finbar as well. You'd like to collaborate. And I suppose, Gary, any final comments?
Yeah, no, I suppose thanks to Daphne Deer there as well for giving us the opportunities to and supporting these projects, and hopefully we can bring this commercial work across Ireland and prove and demonstrate that technologies and their solutions there for all sectors. So thank you.
Okay. Well, thanks to all our speakers, and thank you to all our panelists for joining, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.